Hey guys, today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Patreon, why don't you? Tell us a little bit about Patreon.
What is there to say about Patreon? I mean, you can go there and you can donate to us, and then you can get a lot of cool perks, like, I don't know, commentaries, a whole entire musicals, and David Hasselhoff, and a lot of other cool stuff. There's also After Party now, which is just straight up, you can hear us talk even more about certain topics and musicals that we already discussed somewhat. A lot of cool stuff.
But it's like you're drinking with us, and you can probably talk us into the bedroom if you talk loud enough.
Exactly. And the people who can currently do that are Stephanie L., Terry Needleman, Max Lunig, Benjamin Lear, Lily Ackles, Mackenzie Horner, John Donna, Taryn the Duck, Melissa Goldman, Jess Lightning, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Teskier, Colin McLeod, Fire September, Sam Bergman, Mina Maunieri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, and Haley Murray. Very long list now. We're getting to a large amount here.
Maybe one day our parents will finally love us. But these people give us a little financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you would like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as patron-only commentaries, the after parties are episodes a day early, and much more to come, join us on Patreon. All right, Andrew, are you ready to start this show?
Oh, I'm ready.
Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew to like musical theater. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Well, I was doing okay. I'll say that. And I got home, and what do you know? There's a bunch of fairy tale creatures just at my house, in my room, chilling out. Like, I come over here to record the show. Hey, Pinocchio, shut your mouth. Sorry, they're still behind me. They're still... Guys, get out of here. Sorry about that. They might make a little noise. There's this one dog that keeps barking. So what are you gonna do? But that's how are you doing, Jess?
I need a friend, and I'm gonna just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. I'm also voiced by Eddie Murphy.
Shut up.
No, I won't, because I'm the comic relief sidekick. In case you guys hadn't noticed by our great banter we have up here at the beginning.
Wow.
This week,
very good banter.
We are talking about Shrek the Musical.
Keep your big, bright, beautiful world. I'm happy where I am, all alone. I got all I need, so read the stinking sign. Keep your big, bright, beautiful world. I party on my own anyway, doing what I can with a one-man conga line. Yeah, your big, bright, beautiful world is all teddy bears and unicorns. Take your fluffy fun and shove it where the sun don't shine.
Shrek the Musical is a musical with music by Janine Tesori and a book and lyrics by David Lindsay Abaire. It is based on the 2001 DreamWorks animation film Shrek and William Steig's 1990 books Shrek, with an exclamation point. That's the important difference between the film and the book.
Of course.
After a trial run in Seattle, the original Broadway production opened in December of 2008 and closed after a run of over 12 months in January 2010. It was followed by a tour in the United States, which opened in 2010, and a revamped West End production from June 2011 to February 2013. And I find this weird. I find this musical very weird.
What's
weird
about it?
I shouldn't like this, right?
I don't know. It's okay. I don't know if there's anything in there that's not to like that's actively bad.
But based on premise alone, just hearing, oh, they're making a musical of Shrek, what is your first thoughts?
It's gonna be kind of like Into the Woods, but with Shrek.
My first thought is cringe, and oh god, no, we don't want this.
Really? I mean, maybe I'm just a huge Shrek fan, but I feel like it would work.
But then
Kind
they
of
got
does work.
they got a really prestige composer, Janine Tesori, to write this music. She eventually won her Tony for Fun Home, which I think is one of the greatest musicals of the last 20 years. She also wrote Carolina Change, the music for that, and so much more stuff. So she is like a big, big composer.
And she did Shrek.
Yeah, and she did Shrek, and I think that her music really elevates the story of that mediocre DreamWorks film into something a little bit better.
I would love to hear why you think it's a mediocre film, but...
What do you think of the original Shrek film, first of all?
I mean, I think it's pretty good. I'd say it holds up pretty well. It's probably up there with, like, other CGI animated movies of the same time period, I would say. I like it. Yeah, I like it.
It won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. It was the first animated film to win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature because it was the first time that category existed.
Yes.
I don't
It
think
beat,
this
what,
film...
Jimmy Neutron?
And Monsters, Inc., which I think deserved it more.
Really? I think this is better. I think Shrek is better than Monsters, Inc.
Do you? I don't know. Shrek didn't make me feel emotional.
Well, then you just don't have a soul. I'm sorry.
Why don't you like Monsters, Inc.? I know this is a tangent, but I'm curious.
I do like Monsters, Inc. I just think Shrek is better.
Okay, why?
I like Shrek's sense of humor a lot more, and I like the heart behind Shrek a lot more. I mean, I guess they're both about monsters that kind of have a heart, you know. But I think Shrek, where the monster is actually considered a monster by the world, versus Monsters Inc., where everyone is a monster, so it's kind of not really the same thing, is a little different.
I don't know. I feel like Shrek is just a cynical piece of media that's just Jeffrey Katzenberg's
Absolutely.
reaction to being fired from Disney. Like, that's all I can see
which
it as.
makes it better.
Does it?
Yes, because watching it, looking for all the shit that he's like, this is him taking a dump on Disney, looking for all that stuff, it just makes it even more fun to watch.
I disagree. It makes it uncomfortable to watch. It's like being fed something you didn't want in the first place.
But I did want it.
But that's why I like Shrek 2 a lot better, because I think that they actually had something they wanted to say there.
I think Shrek 2 is better as well. But I don't think Shrek 1 is bad or mediocre. I think it's pretty good.
I'm not even saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, animated films of that period goes, like, even of that year, I think I like Jimmy Neutron a little more.
Okay, you need to get out. You need to leave.
You
this
conversation's like Jimmy Neutron?
Over. Jimmy Neutron is garbage, okay? And the sooner you admit that, the better.
No, I'm not admitting it. I don't think it's garbage.
Okay, well, if it's not garbage, how come they dance the chicken dance in the movie, and that's a major plot point?
Okay, why does Shrek sing "Don't Go Changin' to try and please me" and the Shrek in the Swamp karaoke dance party?
I don't care about Shrek in the Swamp karaoke dance party. I only care about Shrek the movie and Shrek the movie Part 2.
That sounds like you're talking about The Godfather.
What's that?
It's like you're talking about The Godfather.
Yeah, I don't watch Godfather 3. That's the bad one.
I didn't like the first two either. I didn't much love the Godfather movies.
The first two make me want to fall asleep.
Have you tried to watch them?
Yes.
I literally tried to watch the Godfather movies this weekend, and they were both fine, but I feel like the version I had in my head just was better than what I got on the screen, and I was a little sad about it.
They made me want to fall asleep. They're not very exciting.
I
Kinda
mean,
boring.
yeah.
I don't like it. I'd rather watch, like, Goodfellas or something like that.
Or Shrek.
Or Casino. Or Shrek.
Or Shrek.
As far as the movie goes, I mean, it is a musical. It's got music and lyrics by Smash Mouth.
Did you know that the song All Star wasn't even written for Shrek?
I did. It was written for, oh god, what is that movie called?
Mystery Men. One of the
Mystery Men.
Underrated superhero films of all time, in my opinion.
I mean, Ben Stiller is a superhero in my eyes.
Have you watched that movie recently?
I haven't watched that movie ever.
That movie's really good. That movie's actually good.
Didn't it flop pretty hard?
Yes, but the movie itself is actually good.
I'll have to check it out sometime.
Like, one character is like invisible, but only if he's not looking at himself and you're not looking at him. Like, that's the kind of humor in that movie.
So not invisible.
Well, that's kind of the joke until you get to the end. He's actually invisible.
How though?
I don't know. That movie applies by its own logic. And like Janine Garofalo plays a character that carries a bowling ball, but inside is a crystallized skeleton of her dad's head that like she can use to telecommunicate. Like, it's a fucking weird, interesting movie.
Okay. All-Star isn't in Shrek the Musical somehow, and I don't actually quite understand that.
Because they wanted to write some good music for this and tell a story as opposed to fall into a meme.
Here's the issue though. I'm a Believer is in Shrek the Musical.
That was added much later, fun fact. That was added like a significant amount later. And I think that I'm with you. All-Star has much more connection to Shrek as like a song than I'm a Believer does, and I'm really baffled that they chose I'm a Believer to stick with.
Well, that's because I'm a Believer is played when they play it in the musical, in the movie.
Yeah, I guess. But what did you think of Shrek the Musical as compared to the movie?
It's different, and I think I like them about equal.
Really?
Yeah.
I like all the backstory and the emotional verisimilitude they add to the musical. Like, I feel there's more pathos and emotion to the musical.
Yes, but I like Shrek because it's a cynical
But
movie.
They didn't take any of that away either. They have the cynicism, but they were like, you know what, why don't we actually give a thematic connection between Shrek and Fiona and give him like some emotional like pathos that he has to work with?
That kind of takes away some of the cynicism, though.
Adding some like sincerity does not take away from any cynicism.
A little bit, yeah. Also, there's no WWE fight. Like,
you know,
I don't know.
That huge distraction, but there is tap dancing rats, so
okay, I love the tap dancing rats. Did you know the Pied Piper is in the 4th movie of Shrek? He's one of the villains.
No, I didn't make it that far.
Okay, so in the 4th movie, the Pied Piper appears as a villain, and I can only assume that that was a reference to him existing in the Shrek universe, just like how they have the fairy godmother dressed as she is in Shrek 2, and Puss in Boots shows up for literally 3 seconds. Yeah, so they're adding in those references to other Shrek movies, except for the 3rd one, which is garbage. They didn't reference that one at all, thankfully.
So, what is your rating for the Shrek cinematic universe? What is your top 10?
There's only like 5 movies, though.
Yeah, including a spin-off with Puss in Boots.
Best movies? The best movie, Shrek 2, followed by Shrek 1, followed by Shrek 4, followed by Shrek 3, and then we get to Puss in Boots, and below that you have the TV holiday specials.
Shrek the Halls and Scared Shrekless.
Yeah, Scared Shrekless. And then below that, you have Shrek's Karaoke Party.
But no, the Shrek Karaoke Party is part of the film. Where do you rate, like, American Idol Shrek, where Simon Callow is there?
Simon Cowell.
You're right. Simon Callow is a British actor.
Simon, yeah, we don't want to sully that guy's name by comparing him to the American Idol guy. That is, I didn't even rate that because it's bottom of the barrel trash. It's F tier.
But where do you rank the Chris Farley original recording of Shrek, where he played Shrek?
Between Shrek 1 and Shrek 4.
I'd honestly put Puss in Boots above Shrek 3, honestly.
You might be right. I haven't watched Puss in Boots in a while, so you might be right about that one.
And where do you rate the TV show Puss in Boots that was on Netflix?
I've not ever seen it.
Not touching level.
It. I don't want anything to do with Puss in Boots, the TV show. I've not seen it. I'm not watching it. I'm done with the Shrek universe, okay? I'm done with it.
Ever since Universal bought DreamWorks, they're thinking about rebooting it with the Illumination people. So maybe we'll have minions in the Shrek world.
Man, I can't fucking wait until I'm dead, so I never have to think about seeing that.
You know what? I almost saw an Illumination film.
Don't give them your money. Okay, that's what they want.
I almost saw the Grinch remake.
Oh God, why would you do that?
I thought it looked charming.
They trick you. It's a trap. Jess, the trailer gives you like, oh, this is the heartfelt moments. They don't show you the garbage. The whole rest of the movie is shit. Illumination movies are literally the trailer and then a bunch of shit. And sometimes the shit spills over into the trailer. Like, they don't even have enough material for the trailer.
Andrew, I got a question. Isn't that all movies? It's like the trailer, then a bunch of shit.
It's a lot of movies. It's not all movies. It's definitely every Illumination movie.
So what is the plot of Shrek the Musical, Andrew?
Have you seen Shrek 1, perchance?
Yeah, I have, believe it or not.
Oh, it's that. They just do that.
But they've added some new material and some backstory.
But they haven't added anything that changes the plot, though. They just added backstories.
But it's good backstories, like things I was interested in that painted the characters differently and their actions differently.
The Fiona backstory song is probably my favorite part, as far as stuff they added.
Of the entire musical?
Possibly the entire musical, but definitely of the stuff that is new.
Funny, because in that scene, there are 3 different Fionas. You got a young, a middle, and an adult, and that is a trope that Janine Tesori would later use so perfectly in Fun Home to show the life of Alison Bechdel. So I like to think of that as proto-Fun Home.
I also love them harmonizing, and it's her with herself. It's very cool. I love it. It's great.
I like the fact that they were able to make Fiona come off as a little more crazy, and I love Sutton Foster as a performer. She's like the new Bernadette Peters. I think that she's unafraid to look silly or goofy, and I feel like in a lot of actors, not specifically Broadway actors because they're a little bit more willing, but a lot of actresses out there are always so worried about looking pretty, and Sutton Foster is charming because she's almost never worried about how gorgeous she looks.
I actually really like how they changed Fiona. Fiona in the movie has like that Matrix style action scene, which I've always thought was a little weird. Which, like, I get it, she's supposed to be a strong woman or whatever, but you don't have to have an action scene to show that. She doesn't have to be able to kick anyone's ass to show that, you know?
Mm-hmm. I kind of like just the gross stuff they added. Like, I like that she's openly willing to fart in front of Shrek, and I know that's a weird kind of
I'm pretty sure that's from the movie.
Well, she doesn't do that
almost
in the
certain
movie.
That's from the movie.
No, she doesn't fart in the movie.
Well, she does do a ton of gross stuff, though.
Yeah, but showing an actress farting on stage is like either a weird fetish for some people or just something really groundbreaking.
Yeah, and I know which one of them is why you like it, but...
Shut the fuck up, dude. I prefer it in the musical, honestly, because it does kind of show that they're bonding a little bit more without having a montage.
Yeah.
Which is what the movie relies on.
I think... Well, that's because they had to have that fight scene in, like, they didn't have the time to dedicate to the actual bonding, which
they didn't have time to
some...
dedicate to the story, so they had a random fight scene in the middle. Because, you know, the movie is bad.
Yeah, I mean, that part of the movie is definitely better here. What else?
Who do you think had the worst life, Shrek or Fiona?
They're both pretty fucking terrible. I mean, they're pretty much the same. Like, honestly, right? I mean, they're both sent off to live by themselves in solidarity.
By their parents who are supposed to take care of them and love them for no reason.
Yeah. I think Shrek would maybe be a little worse just because he had to deal with, like, actual violence from other people while he was doing that, whereas Fiona was just kind of alone.
Well, Fiona literally had to eat where she shat.
I mean, did you see Shrek's house?
No, there's a difference between eating your own feces and having to eat in the same place you shit. There's a difference.
That's true. But it did make her very good at dancing with rats.
Yes, it did. What do you think of the performances? Since like the Broadway production is so ubiquitous and on Netflix, and we don't usually talk about performances here, but I am very curious as to what you thought of them, since they are kind of having to make their own version of what a actor already set up.
I think most of them were pretty good. I feel like the accent on Shrek probably could have been a lot closer to what he actually sounds like in the movie. But I guess that maybe would be a nitpick.
See,
I didn't really have any complaints.
I really like the way that the guy talks in the musical. Brian Darcy James does an incredible job with Shrek.
I think he does a really good job. It's just if you're coming from the movie and you're like, oh, is this going to be Shrek and he's going to do the Shrek accent, and he doesn't really do it, it's a little disappointing. He does an
interpretation enough where it's like his own version of it, but it's still very much his Shrek. I prefer it because it sounds less like Fat Bastard.
Well, to be fair, I think Michael Myers only has like 2 voices that he can do.
He has the British one, he has his normal one, then he has Fast Bastard. And that's it.
Yeah, so British, Scottish, and
American
himself.
Well, no, he's Canadian, so Canadian.
Yeah, he speaks Canadian English, which is slightly different than American English.
It's like English, except you talk like you're an idiot. All right, so let's keep on going.
Very true.
What did you think of Farquaad? Because he is one of the character changes I'm not a big fan of in the musical.
Really? He's the greatest thing.
Okay, let's chat about that. You tell me more.
Okay, well, number one, the whole costume design and the way the character is played is just the star of the whole first act at the very least.
I love the fact that he's just a guy on his knees the whole time. That is brilliant, like, staging.
It's so good. That's fantastic. And his dance number with everybody is so like maybe the best part, like as far as like staging and everything goes, like just so fucking good. Yeah, but he's just a guy on his knees. But I like that he has the backstory now where he basically is a fairy tale creature.
Yes.
Which makes it even more like, man, why do you hate fairy tale creatures so much? So, whereas before
Daddy
it was like
grumpy.
Yeah, that's a funny line. His dad was grumpy, literally. I don't know. What don't you like about Farquaad? I mean,
I think he's a little too campy for me to think of him as a threat, whereas in the movie, one of the things I think the movie does better is Farquaad always feels like a threat. He always feels like an intimidating, imposing figure, despite like the dick size complex and all that.
I like that he has baby feet. Little toddler toes there. I don't know. I feel like he's still a threat in the same way that he was in the movie, because in the movie he was never really like it was never like, oh, he's gonna kill Shrek, like Shrek could kick him across the room.
He 100% could have killed Shrek, or at least had someone do it on his behalf.
Yeah, but he could have done that in this too. I think what they did is they made his guards too pathetic.
Maybe.
Like, because there's never really a time where his guards are like gonna get Shrek or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, let me describe it like this. If the trade-off is
Sure.
I care about Shrek and Fiona more, but I don't really find Farquaad that threatening, that's great, because I love Shrek and Fiona in this. I don't like Donkey in this. I feel like they amped him up too much.
Yeah.
And even
They made him
Eddie
too...
Murphy was riding the line pretty closely.
They made him too, like, flamboyant, if that's okay to say.
I don't know if they did that or if that's performance is, because I'm trying to think of like the actual script and the delivery.
Yeah, maybe it
makes
was in the delivery. I'm not sure. Because, I don't know. Honestly, Donkey is the most...
He's a nothing
character in the movie. It's just like, he's got a few funny lines, and I do like Shrek growing to like Donkey, I guess, a little bit. But like... he really doesn't have that much to do. He's just comic relief.
But I am going to say that I really do like his part in Who I'd Be, and like his build up to that. Like, I think his like counterpoint is like so beautiful. Like, I know we're not talking about songs yet, but that song in particular I think is great, and it's a good patriotic element to end Act 1 on. And Donkey, like, seeing, like, oh shit, you are alone. Like, you're not just being an asshole for asshole's sakes. And, like, being like, I'm here for you, dude. Like, I think that's the best relationship development between those two in the entire show.
Yeah. You know what's kind of weird is they cut Donkey's backstory, but they give backstories to everyone else.
What backstory does he have? Like
Yeah, remember in the movie they have the thing where he learns to fly or whatever, and
yeah, but that scene wasn't that interesting. It was mostly a joke about the other fairy tale creatures.
yes, absolutely, but that kind of is Donkey's backstory, and they cut it, but they give everyone else a backstory, which is a positive change because Donkey doesn't need a backstory because Donkey is nobody.
Much like Rey in The Last Jedi, he's nothing, nobody.
He's a boxcar and a jug of wine.
But I don't like any of Donkey's, like, solo songs. Like, I don't like Make a Move, and I don't like Don't Let Me Go.
I honestly feel like he could have just been a character that didn't have any solo songs at all, and he just maybe has a backup part in some of Shrek's songs, or maybe even just doesn't sing.
I do like Travel Song, though, because the Shrek counterpoint with it that I think makes that work. And I think that would have been enough.
He doesn't need songs. He doesn't have a character.
He's comedy. He's fun.
He's just a goof character. What's kind of weird is they have the dragon, like, singing and everything. I was expecting them to flesh out the dragon-donkey relationship more, but I think they do less with it in this than they did in the movie.
What do you mean? I mean, I like that song.
I was just expecting them to have a bit more, but they kind of, they have either the same amount or not quite as much as the movie did. There's never the part where Donkey.
What do you think of making him look like a Dreamgirls type of situation? Like, almost
How
like
do you mean?
Like, they're kind of like a girl band.
Oh, no, I really like that. That's what I'm saying. I thought that was really cool, and I wish they did more with it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the big puppet?
I think the puppet looks incredible. And this is one of those musicals I have seen live, and I think it works really well live, too.
I feel like some of the lip syncing didn't look quite right to me.
Yeah, but you're also looking at the actresses performing it, and it works a lot better that way, too.
It looked very cool, though. I did like it. Actually, a lot of the sets in this are really nice looking.
Yes, and can I talk a little bit about structure and how I'm glad they made the emotional choice and not the, like, visual choice?
Sure.
All right, in any other hands, and any less skilled, less intelligent hands, this musical's Act 1 would end right after they say Princess Fiona and they get out of that castle. And they have that big...
Yes.
But this musical...
I was actually expecting that.
On the other hand, waits a little bit more until Shrek explains, basically has his big, like, this is what I wish my life was like song, and they all sing about this and their goals for Act 2. And the question isn't, like, how are they going to get along? It's, like, how are they going to figure out how they fit into this world with that wonderful song, Who I'd Be, which we'll go into later. Just structurally, that is a much more emotional response than, say, oh, they got out, what are they gonna do next?
Yeah, no, it is much better. And then Act 2 is much more about them bonding, and rather than opening Act 2 with that cave scene and having it be kind of awkward emotionally, where it's like, oh, we're gonna start here, you start with dancing rats,
which is great. And as you and I have talked about musical theater structure, the opening number of Act 2 really shouldn't be a big plot number.
Yes. Let's see, what else? Was there something
And I've mentioned before, I don't much like dance numbers, and if you're going to have a dance number, make it your opener of Act 1 so I can, or Act 2 so I can finish my dump.
Jess, 2 poops before the show. Don't poop in intermission, you're going to miss a song.
Speaking of intermission, do you want to go into a mid-show announcement?
Absolutely. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donors over at Patreon. Our current Patreon supporters are Stephanie L., Terry Needleman, Max Lunig, Benjamin Learer, Lily Ackles, Mackenzie Horner, John Donna, Taryn the Duck, Melissa Goldman, Jess Lightning, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Deskier, Colin McLeod, Fire of September, Sam Bergman, Mina Maniri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, and Haley Murray. Very huge thank you for the extra financial support that you guys give us over here. Help us fund our endeavors. And if you'd like to join them in supporting, we have a ton of other perks, like the after party and commentaries, and even episodes a day early. So come on and check it out over at Patreon. Let's get back into it as soon as Jess is done passing a kidney stone.
Do you ever read the Bible and get an erection?
Only at that one part. You know what I'm talking about.
I prefer a life like this. It's not that complicated. Sir, I'm fated to be lonely, and I'm destined to be hated. If you read the books, they say it's why I was created, but I don't care. 'Cause being liked is grossly overrated. Who needs a big, bright, beautiful world? I've got my own little patch of the world. It's not a big, bright, beautiful world, but it's mine alone. It's mine.
What do you think of the opening number, Big Bright Beautiful World?
I really like this song.
This is a great I Want song and a great opening number. I am, like, this is the moment where I'm like, oh shit, this isn't just a paycheck musical.
Yeah. Also, ogres with hair? I thought that they were all bald. I guess Fiona's not bald, but she's a half ogre. She's not a full ogre.
Does that mean that Shrek's just a guy that kind of shaves his head? He's like a skinhead ogre?
I feel like he's naturally bald somehow. I don't even think that's a thing, but I feel like he is. Are there people that are naturally bald? Can you be fully bald, like you literally don't grow any hair? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that is a thing.
That's Shrek.
But we see
this
in the
is a great
movie,
song,
he
though.
has ass hairs.
That's true. We do see that in the movie. Sadly, they don't show us that in the musical.
But he does 100% take a shit and wipe his ass with the fairy tale stories. Do you think it's a little too much of Anakin Skywalker syndrome, just showing Shrek and his parents, like little baby Shrek?
I think it's fine because, well, number one, this is a musical for kids, so spelling things out is totally okay with me. And just having it literally be, hey, when he was a kid, he was told that he would be nothing, and the world's not meant for him. And you know, just having that is totally fine with me.
Can I talk to you about another version of this musical that could have been?
Sure. What is it here?
So for a long time on YouTube, I have no idea if this is still uploaded. There was an alternate demo recording of another possible composer for the Shrek musical.
Oh.
And all of his
Okay.
demos for it, before they went with Janine Tesori.
Okay.
And their opening number was literally, I think it was called I Love It in My Swamp or something like that.
I wake up in the morning and have a satisfying poop. Stick my finger in my eye and dig out the crusty goop. Pop my finger in my mouth and enjoy the spicy taste. It's always been my motto, let nothing go to waste. Then I grab a juicy beetle and I chomp. Life's terrific here in my swamp.
Okay. So literally theirs was just, hey, remember that opening scene where they play All-Star? Here's a song about the stuff that happens in that.
Yeah, whereas I know that is like diminishing and like, hey, but that is the easy answer. And these guys decided, no, what is the answer that would give us the most emotionally satisfying reaction to have Shrek figure out?
Yeah.
What is Shrek's goal from the very beginning of the story, and how does it change by the time we hit the ending? Which is why I think it's really good that it eventually comes back in the end, where he's like, no, my big, bright, beautiful world is not being on my own. It is a family with Fiona and Donkey and all these people in my life.
It's a big, bright, beautiful world with possibilities everywhere. If true love is blind, maybe you won't mind the view. I know I'm not the handsome prince for whom you waited. I don't have a fancy castle and I'm not sophisticated. A princess and an ogre, I admit, is complicated. You've never read a book like this, but fairy tales should really be updated.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's pretty much what the movie is about. So it really captures the whole spirit, you know?
I bring that up not to be like, well, these people are idiots. It's more like the effort that was put into this musical is not unapparent. This is not a lazy show like a lot of Disney musicals are.
They didn't just take the movie and just look at the movie and they're like, okay, well, literally what happens is it opens in his swamp and it's about how he likes his swamp. So the song is called I Like My Swamp.
But sometimes in musicals, that is the option. That is the best answer, to be as simple as possible to state the premise.
Sometimes, but sadly, you can't play All-Star over a credit sequence in a musical.
Are you there, God? It's me, Fiona. It's me, Fiona. Now I know he'll appear, 'cause there are rules and there are strictures. I believe the storybooks I read by candlelight, my white knight, my knight and his steed will look just like these pictures. It won't be long now, I guarantee. Day number 23. Day number 950. Number 8,423.
Let's talk about I Know It's Today.
I think I've already said that this was one of my favorite songs in the whole thing. So I stand by that. It's incredibly good. I really like giving Fiona an actual, like, character before she meets Shrek. Like, hey, this is what she is like. This is what she cares about.
We don't get
It's
much
nice.
into Fiona's mindset in the movie. We get the scenes where she kind of prepares, but we don't really understand, okay, why does she prepare? Why is she like this? And this is like, she's been obsessing over this story. This is what's been engraved in her. Like, and these issues.
I think in the movie, it is, you can gather all that information. It's all implied. They're just never explicit with it.
I don't think you get the insanity in Cameron Diaz's performance. I don't think you get, like, the
No,
beleaguered-
you don't quite get the obsession with it, like, as much, because she kind of gives up after the first couple scenes. Like, there's like 2 scenes where at the castle where she's like, you were supposed to be handsome and da da da, but then after like a little bit, she's like, whatever.
Well, the thing about this is you understand why she's been that way. She's like, all right, there's a princess in the tower and there's a prince that's coming, and that's how the story goes, and that's why my parents locked me up here, and that's what I have to look forward to.
It's so sad that she keeps saying that she knows it's today forever. It's so sad. I'm gonna cry.
It is a tragic side of the story, and once again, adding pathos where there was none before.
Absolutely. And speaking of adding pathos where there was none before, what's
Yeah?
up, Duloc?
Things are looking up here into luck.
Just take a look,
The things I'm cooking up here into luck.
he likes to cook.
A model that amazes, a plan with 7 phases.
Bum, 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 bum.
Things are looking up here into luck.
They're looking up,
Into luck.
I take it this is one of your favorite songs.
No, they're both one of my favorite songs. I just think "What's Up, Duloc" is hilarious.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
I don't like the song.
Okay, why don't you like this song?
I don't like overt camp. I like camp that's kind of like downplayed so that the bigger elements seem bigger. Whereas this is just like everything's at 101.
This song reminds me a lot of Springtime for Hitler.
I see that.
Yeah? Except for Hitler is very short and has baby feet and dances a lot more. I honestly, it's less about the song though, and it's more just about the choreography,
The visual
and
gags and all
the
that.
visual gags. Yeah, whereas I Know It's Today is totally about the song. You don't even have to have the visuals, and that song works perfectly.
I agree.
So they're
I get
polar opposites. Polar opposites, but I like them both.
But everyone, I think a lot of my opinion of the song is tainted by how they marketed it. Because they basically marketed their entire musical off this song. This is what they performed at the Tonys. This is what they used for the advertising. It bothers me. Because it just tried to promote it as the movie on stage, but campier. And it wasn't that.
No. Honestly, I'm surprised that they used that one as the mark. Like, that would have been a funny thing to have, like, happen and you're like, you don't expect it. But having it be the marketing thing makes it a lot less funny.
And that's why it kind of ruined it for me.
Because it's really the only moment where it goes that crazily into camp.
I think their Tony's performance would have been much better if they had sang Who I'd Be. Honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Or Big Bright Beautiful World would have been not terrible to sing.
Or even This Is How a Dream Comes True, where they like escape from the dragon. That big number.
Literally anything but the campy joke number by the villain.
But even if you wanted like a campy, fun joke number, do the morning person number with the dancing rats.
Yeah, even that one would have fit a little better. I'm surprised they didn't market it with like Freak Flag or something where you can get those politics points and all that stuff.
I hate that song, fun fact.
I also hate that song. But whatever.
But not for me.
An ogre always hides, an ogre's fate is known. An ogre always stays in the dark.
You're all alone. All alone. So yes, I'd be a hero. And if my wish were granted, life would be enchanted. Or so the stories say. Of course I'd be a hero. And I would scale a tower to save a hothouse flower and carry her away. A perfect happy ending. That's how it should be.
Andrew, if you could be anyone in the world, who would you be?
I would be Shrek.
But Shrek doesn't even want to be Shrek.
That's true, but that doesn't mean no one else wants to be him.
Why do you want to be Shrek? Do you want to fuck a green girl? Because I've always wanted to do that. Ever since my hero William Shatner did it.
No comment. Okay, well, who I'd be is another contender for best song in this, I think. There's a lot of songs I like in this now that I'm thinking about it.
What do you mean?
Oh, there's quite a few more songs that actually I enjoyed than when I initially was thinking about it.
So you now that we've talked about this, you're actually more positive about the music altogether.
I'm just becoming more and more positive about this as we go. Who I'd Be was really great. Fantastic Act 1 closer. I love that all three of them are singing, and it's obviously all about the same thing. I'm really glad that they didn't have Farquaad come in to make the whole thing goofy. Great. It was great. What did you think?
It ends on a sincere note. Like, Donkey's not making jokes during it. Shrek doesn't, like, fart at the end and be like, oh, that'll keep you coming back. No, they live in this emotional moment where everyone's like, I wish I was better than what I am.
It's great. It's great.
And it means so much more after Shrek has just been basically rejected by Fiona for being what he is.
Yeah. But Fiona's hiding that she's the same thing. So it's like, you got all this conflict going on. It's great. And then Shrek lashes out at Donkey, and it's like, all the drama in the world in this one song.
And it's good drama. It's not forced either.
I think the fact that Farquaad doesn't appear in this song, though, just shows that he is kind of like almost a weird presence in this whole thing.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like usually you'd have the villain show up in the Act 1 closer, wouldn't you? I would have.
Maybe in a different show, but not this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is like Lord Farquaad just doesn't really fit into the picture.
I think Farquaad doesn't belong in the Shrek movie. You should just skip right to Prince Charming.
I think Farquaad is my favorite Shrek character, but I feel like he would be better in a different movie.
Bare essentials are in on a hot plate in a chamber pot, and every morning I would toilet. No choice, I had no toilet. Just a view of devastation. I was in isolation in my bedroom and very little headroom. 20 years I sat and waited. I'm very dedicated. On the walls, the days were added. Love now in eyes were padded. 20 years. My dad and mom sent me away.
So, I think I got you beat. I think I got you beat. Yeah, yeah. I think I got you beat. I think I got you beat. Yeah, yeah. I think I got you beat. I think I got you beat. Yeah. Oopsie.
Let's talk about I Think I Got You Beat first.
I like this song. I'm trying to remember what it reminds me of, like the back and forth of my life was worse than yours and your life. What is there's like a movie where they do that. Is that Deadpool?
Yeah, it's Deadpool.
Did Deadpool steal from Shrek the Musical and no one noticed?
Yeah, because, Deadpool is the most original piece of media ever.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying no one called them out for it.
Let's
I didn't
write
hear anyone
letters,
say
guys.
that.
Start a letter writing campaign.
Can we get Ryan Reynolds to just admit that they stole from Shrek the Musical? Like, just straight up, can they admit it at least?
Yeah. And you guys should have casted Brian Darcy James as Deadpool, and honestly, I'm sad that you didn't, because Brian Darcy James is a much better actor than Ryan Reynolds. I said it.
I honestly, I don't care who plays Deadpool, because Deadpool is such a nothing character anyways. He's literally
Deadpool
just
isn't
a
a character,
personification.
He's a meme.
He is a meme. He's a personification of pop culture. That's all he is.
Mm-hmm. And even like Beetlejuice, who is a little Deadpool-esque, has a character.
Beetlejuice is Deadpool-esque, but he's not Deadpool. Like what he has that's Deadpool-esque is that he can break the fourth wall and stuff like that. But Deadpool, that's the only thing he has.
That's fair. But back to Shrek the Musical. What
Back
do
to
you think
Shrek
of this
the
song?
Musical.
I think this song it's a lot like Who I'd Be for a majority of it. Then they start farting at each other's butts.
Yeah, the ending where they start farting a lot. I think I could do without that.
I don't
personally.
even mind it as long as they return to the emotional center of the song. Like if that had happened like at the midpoint and they come back to being emotional, like
You don't understand it though. The farting is the emotional center.
I see that's what they're trying to do, but I don't agree with it.
I forget if it was musical farts or not, like if the farts were in key and like melody.
They were on
I
beat,
forget.
definitely.
They were on beat because I think I got you beat.
Have you have you seen Swiss Army Man?
No.
Do you at least know the premise of that?
I don't, honestly. Is it like Inspector Gadget? I kind of picture it like Inspector Gadget.
No, Swiss Army Man has Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano. And Daniel Radcliffe plays a farting corpse.
Oh.
that
Good.
teaches Paul Dano to like be more secure with himself over the course of a movie as they like fall in love with each other.
What?
It's a
Okay.
weird movie, and you would love it. But the directors, who are Daniels, that is their director, they're both named Daniel. They said
Okay.
their pitch to their studios and to Paul Dano was the first fart makes you laugh, the last fart makes you cry. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to do with this scene in Shrek the Musical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you there. I don't think they succeeded, but I don't disagree with you.
Whereas with Swiss Army Man, I was crying at the end of that movie, so...
Did he talk in farts, or did he just fart a lot?
He farted a lot, but he also could talk. Like, there was one part where Paul Dano was explaining him to, like, the world. He's like, you're supposed to hide your farts. You're not supposed to fart in public because it's, like, embarrassing. And he's like, why would you hide your farts? It's such a sad life to live.
You hide your fart because they smell, and people don't like things that smell bad.
And
Whatever.
it's a weird movie. You should see it.
I've never-
I would love your thoughts on it.
I don't know. What are we gonna do when I see that movie and I'm just not able to explain it because my words fail?
When words fail, what will I do? When words fail, how will she know how I feel? When words fail, will I fail to do? I have a snowball's chance. Are my prospects just too grim? I spent my life stuck in the mud. Now I'm crawling out on a limb. If words fail, she'll know what I mean. If words fail, she'll just take my hand. She sees me like no one else has. If words fail, she'll understand. She'll understand.
Up, we'll go on to the next song, When Words Fail.
When words fail.
Dude, this song is so good. I like wanna sob every time I hear it. It's so good.
I felt really bad for Shrek. Like, really bad for Shrek.
Did you
Like,
think you'd be saying that
it's-
before you
it's-
sat down and listened to this?
I feel like this song just really emphasizes that he is not able to express the way he feels to anyone because he's never really done anything like that before. And it's
Right.
it's tragic, man. It's very emotional. Great song. Fantastic. Also, I don't think he farts one time in the whole thing.
No, he does not fart in that whole song. You're right.
Man, I put the nail on the pin.
So you think this song is great because he doesn't fart throughout it? I agree with you. This
That's
song is good.
that's my criticism. But he doesn't fart throughout it, so I think it's good.
I thought you were gonna say it's bad because he doesn't fart throughout it.
No, I'm saying that my critique of it is that it is very good because he doesn't fart.
So you're giving it a 0 out of 10. Needed more farts.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10, slightly above average.
I think the song is good. But then again, that might also be my little kid version of me being like, girls don't like me, and I wish they would, and I don't know how to talk because I'm a weirdo.
I don't know how to talk to girls. I just blubber whenever I talk to them.
I start singing songs from Shrek the Musical, and they just stare at me. They don't understand what I'm going through. Only Shrek understands.
You know what I don't like in both Shrek the movie and Shrek the Musical that happens like right after this song?
The fact that Donkey gets his dick sucked by Dragon.
No. That part's
You like
good.
that part.
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about the fact that the whole entire second act becomes just like, hey, Shrek misheard something she said and refuses to ask her what actually she meant by that, or talk to Donkey and have him explain what they were talking about. He just straight up reacts to it as if it was exactly what he thought it was, and I don't know, it's frustrating.
Well, Shrek is kind of a stubborn guy that's like, I know what my life is. I know. Like, I felt in character, at least. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of, like, liar or mishearing and shit like that. I don't like that plot line in movies to begin with.
It's just frustrating. It's like, oh man, God forbid the characters just talk to each other for 2 seconds and resolve this conflict.
Andrew, I'm pretty sure I just heard you say that you don't want to talk to me anymore. And you know what I'm going to do to get over that in my anger?
Wait, I can explain.
Nope, I'm building a wall.
What a fool to think she might love me. I opened my heart and let her walk through. She wanted Prince Charming. I wanted my home back. How lucky both our wishes came true. Gotta build me a wall, a perfect place to hide. Hey, world, stay on your side. The best way to conquer, they say, is to divide. Gonna build a wall, gonna be what they say, gonna hide in my heart.
You like Build a Wall?
I do like
kind
build a
of-
wall.
I like the song, but I also kind of don't like what it represents in that he's just shutting himself off because he just misheard somebody.
He's shutting himself off because that's all he ever really wanted. And, like, he's going back to his initial big, bright, beautiful world, like, needs.
I guess it's not the song or the goal that is the problem. It's the reason that he's reapproached that goal is so stupid.
But then again, if your life is always telling you that you're ugly, and then you hear someone else say that something that might imply that you're ugly and no one will ever love you.
I almost feel like it would have worked better if Fiona and Shrek, like, kind of admitted they liked each other, and then Farquaad showed up and Fiona was like, oh, I'm gonna go with him because this is what I've always wanted, and then they both do, like, what they've always wanted.
Or
You know?
even like,
And then
I
they-
need
and
to
then
do
they
this
both-
thing, but wait for me, Shrek. Wait for me.
But then Shrek, like, kind of loses it and is like, she just left me, ah!
She didn't even say goodbye. Or even if Farquaad kidnapped her.
Oh man, that would have been literally anything other than he walks
What
up to
we
the
got?
door and she happens to be talking about herself and say ugly, and he's like, oh geez, she's talking about me.
No one will ever care about Shrek.
Yeah, I don't know. But Build a Wall's a good song.
Build a Wall is a great song. It's the one time where I feel like they really indulge in the rocky elements of the soundtrack.
You know what I kind of noticed, I think?
What?
Did you kind of notice that, like, Farquaad and all those guys have more a less rocky sound to them, and then Shrek is, like, very, like, rock, like, blues rock kind of sound? Am I crazy?
I mean, story-wise, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I also think Fiona had a more, like, especially with, like, I Know It's Today
She had a more
or whatever. It was
fairy
like
tale sound, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Shrek was, all like, throughout the whole thing, had this, like, rock sound to him. I thought that was
I wouldn't
neat.
even call it a rock, but I think that's an intentional choice.
Yes. I'm just pointing out something I noticed, I guess.
I mean, it's not like you do a podcast where I literally force you to point out things you notice.
I don't think there's any other songs I'd want to talk about, unless we want to talk about Freak Flag and how we don't like it.
Can we
but-
just whine about Freak Flag? I feel like we're always so positive. We need to bitch about something.
Let your freak flag wave. Let your freak flag fly. Never take it down, never take it down. Raise it way up high. Yeah. Let your freak flag fly.
Yeah, this just felt really forced to me. And I guess it was probably more relevant at the time because this came out in, 2010?
Yeah, around in the Obama years where you're like, oh, life can be happy. We can be happy and love each other, right? Right?
Well, what I'm saying is I think it was more relevant to have this sort of, like, anthem.
Everyone is
type
wonderful
song.
and everyone loves each other.
Well, that's not what this song's about, though.
I'm so great because I'm different.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this song is about. I feel like it's forced, and it doesn't really fit. It doesn't make sense.
Makes dollars, not cents. I don't like this song just because it's not a part of the plot. It's a part of
Yeah,
like
that's
our
what I'm
secondary
saying.
characters.
It's not even secondary characters. They're like tertiary characters. I mean, honestly.
Like, who the fuck really cares about Gingerbread Man and Pinocchio?
Gingy was like annoying sounding through the whole thing. I thought, like, I get it. That's
You
what he
mean,
sounds
like,
like in
through
the
the-
movie, but
Through the Shrek series?
no, I mean in the musical, like Gingerbread Man singing is not okay.
I mean, the girl that portrayed him has a really nice voice. It's just like, we gotta get through the impression to get there.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the impression. And honestly, like nobody really cares about these fairy tale creatures. They don't really do anything of real consequence in the whole show. And we really didn't need to cut back to them to have them do their oh my goodness, I'm so proud of the fact that I'm different song. Because the whole show is already about that.
Andrew, have you ever thought that you might need to let your freak flag wave? Let your freak flag wave.
They weren't even all freaks. I mean, some of them are just pigs.
I mean,
Also-
you're not wrong.
It's also really confusing that the fairy godmother is the same fairy godmother as the second Shrek movie, but if you've seen the second Shrek movie, you know that she's the villain. But in this
Can
one,
I
she's
also say
celebrating.
it's really weird that the wolf uses the T slur, and it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
That's not a slur, is it?
Yeah, it's a slur. People who are trans don't like to be referred to as that.
But the wolf was trans and referred to himself as that. I don't even.
It has not
whatever.
been taken back in the same way, and a lot of people have objected to its use in this show. And honestly, I don't think the rhyme is good enough to... Nope, I don't care.
But let's talk about the real finale. What do you think of "I'm a Believer," the classic monkey song that was covered by Smash Mouth and then covered by Shrek in Shrek the Musical?
I think that song isn't that good to begin with, but I do prefer the Monkees to the Beatles.
The Monkees are better than the Beatles, and the Monkees song "Daydream Believer" is better than the Beatles' entire discography.
I think the Monkees TV show is better than any Beatles movie.
That's also true. Yellow Submarine
Have you watched the
is
Monkees
garbage.
TV show?
It's very campy and bizarre.
It's great. It's the best kind of campy and bizarre, though.
Have you seen the Banana Splits show?
No, my dad used to like that show as a kid, but I never watched it. But I know
Did you?
were a big fan of the new horror remake.
Did you know they made a horror remake?
Yes, you told me about this. Pretty sure on a different podcast.
I know, I just have to bring this up as much as I can. All right. What's your overall thoughts on Shrek the Musical?
It's all right. I think it's better than the movie. I if I'm gonna be honest, I really do like Shrek the Musical. I really am a big fan of everything that it brings to the table. There's a lot of effort put in by the creators, the collaborators, the composers, the book writer. It's not perfect, and honestly, if I'm bored one night and I turn on Netflix, I will enjoy it and watch it all the way through. And my cheese rating is toasted onion cheese log, because ogres are like onions.
They have layers.
Yes, they do. What about you, Andrew? What was your overall thoughts?
I thought it was okay. I mean, again, I think it's pretty much on par with the original Shrek movie. It kind of has some of the same flaws that the Shrek movie does, but it does patch some of those up with some more heart. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's anything like spectacular, but I mean, if you got some free time and you have Netflix, I mean, just go watch the damn thing, you know?
I will say it is the best musical to have on while you're having sex, because if you're just like banging away, you could always just turn and be like, look at Shrek, he's funny.
That's true, and it's also really good to have on while you're having sex because there's constant fart noises to maintain your erection.
Give her fucking cheese rating, you goddamn pervert.
I don't know. I'm gonna give it one of those stinky cheeses. I don't even know what type of the cheese that smells, because that Shrek farts a lot.
You made me stop what I was doing so you can give a cheese rating, but you don't even put an ounce of effort into it.
Not even a tiny bit of effort. None. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Please leave us reviews on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, at Musicals with Cheese. Our Twitter is at Cheesy Musicals. Please support us on Patreon at Musicals with Cheese. Our Instagram is Musicals with Cheese, and our YouTube page is also Musicals with Cheese. Feel free to send us an email at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our amazing title card was created by the equally amazing Jolene Casco. Give her some love over at Instagram at Jolene Casco. Andrew, is there anything left you want to say before we wrap it all up tonight?
Well, better out than in, I've always said.
Fuck you. I'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
On Musicals with Cheese.